You guys saw the title. It's true. Adobe and I broke up. No, okay, you know what? This is actually so lame. Alright. This is my third time recording this because I got myself in trouble legally the first time and I forgot to do that shitty intro the second time. So this is the third time now. Welcome back. It's me again. I'm back to posting regularly every 3 days. Y'all know the deal, okay? So I'm tired of these long ass intros for these videos, so let's get straight to it. How the fuck did I even get in this position? So growing up, I'm talking like grade 5 to like 8 or some shit like that, I was using paint.net to make Geometry Dash icons for so fucking long. I was so dedicated to paint.net. So fucking dedicated. And if you don't know what paint.net is, it was a free Photoshop alternative that you can use on your computer. It was legendary for me. I think one time I slept walked at 5 a.m. down to my computer to work on GD icons. I loved working on it so fucking much. I loved it so much. And I don't know what happened after that. I think I started noticing that Geometry Dash was an unhealthy habit for me, so I stopped. But then, what really comes down to it is that during this time of me working on Geometry Dash icons, I'd also be recording videos, and all the recordings ended up dog shit. One of them ended up just a green screen, like a still frame of the video. So sorry about that. I'm a little bit stuffy. But that is nasty. I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place. But in any case, what happened was these videos didn't turn out. Paint.net was fun, but I didn't do it for anything like commercial. I didn't do anything like that. I was just doing it for fun until I'd say around high school time, because around that time in high school, I wasn't really the best mentally. I hate to admit it. I would eventually get or acquire Premiere Pro via certain means. I'm not going to say anything, but certain means I would acquire Premiere Pro and I would start working on it. And I remember the first thing I ever did in Premiere Pro, or I think it was DaVinci Resolve I used first. No, it was Premiere Pro I used first. So I would use Premiere Pro, and I remember the first thing I ever edited as a test to see if I can edit was the scene from Aliens where Ripley is fighting the Queen Alien. That was like the first thing I ever edited, and then when I finished it, I didn't even know how to export, which is funny. But yeah, I'd essentially grabbed myself an old version of Premiere Pro, via certain means, and just work on it. And around that time, I wasn't actually really using it too much, so I even I uninstalled the software, and from there I went into college, like where I am now. And even around this time, like approaching college, for a year when I would start working on these videos, the Tai Talks videos, I was editing using DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci Resolve is now something I'm using today, but I'm just telling you this to provide you the timeline. But eventually I'd enter the classes I'm in today, go through the whole 4-year program, and what happens is the program uses the Adobe suite a lot. So I thought it would be a really smart idea for me to only pay, I think it was like 28 Canadian dollars a month to get the entire Adobe suite on my computer. And to me, it was the smartest idea ever, because that way I could practice with the Adobe suite, because there was really nothing to compete with it at the time. And at that point, I could just learn how to edit, and it would be perfect. But really what comes down to is I didn't edit too much. I edited here and there, just like videos on Premiere Pro, which was fun. But I can't lie, it was about, since this year, they did an update on how Premiere Pro looked and ran. And it seemed like they wanted to go more, because Premiere Pro is better for independent works, it seemed like they wanted, UI-wise, to go more in, the collaborative work environment. And in all honesty, it looked a lot more how do I say this? I guess bluntly, it just didn't look as fun. It just wasn't fun anymore. And it just didn't look fun. Everything was a lot more stiff. When you would trim something down or ripple edit a clip, it would nicely just move down. But now it's just I know it's a very small nitpick, but it just, that's how I would describe the change that happened in Premiere Pro. It didn't look pretty anymore, honestly. It just did not look fun to use. But it was what I had, so I was gonna use it because it was what I had. So I kept going. And then, because I initially bought my Premiere Pro suite, or like my Adobe suite, during the time I was in another school for computer science, I would, what is it called? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So because I bought it during my computer science term, but I didn't continue with that term and started a new term the next year, that means in my fourth year, which is this year, my school, my student license will be over, because my student license only lasted for 4 years because I had to put down my program and all that shit, right? So I do that, and I'm like, okay, so now the subscription is going to be over. How much are they going to charge me? They're charging me $120. No, sorry. They're charging me $130 for me using only 2.5 programs. That is Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and sometimes After Effects. I barely use After Effects. I did a course on it, but besides that, I never really used After Effects. But in that moment, I realized that this was only worth $20 to me. This will never be worth $130. And then when I saw they had a cancellation fee, that's when everything started picking up. I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense now. This makes a lot of fucking sense. I could see why people don't want to use Adobe at all. I could see why people don't like Adobe at all. And just immediately then and there, I uninstalled Adobe and I went back to DaVinci Resolve. Because in all honesty, DaVinci Resolve is my first love. I hate to say it, when it comes to video editing, it's my first love. And it was the program I used to edit my first YouTube videos. It was the program I used when I was first starting to get into video editing. It was perfect. And now it's back on my system. It's the only thing I'm really using. I moved all of my keybinds from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve, and now the thing works like a charm. I love working on it. And as I did a color grading course in my school, I'd also realized that DaVinci Resolve just has the better color grading software integrated into it than Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro's is really lacking. With DaVinci Resolve, you can literally mask out a person via the color of their skin, and then you can use that mask to change everything around it, a specific color, hue, saturation, etc. It is a legendary, it works legendarily good. It works crazy good. Though, I'm not too sure of how the node system works, like how it would work in terms of keyframing and whatnot, but that's something I need to really get down. I only took one course in color grading software. But also, one thing I noticed is, I think, and if I'm correct on this, I think DaVinci Resolve's Fusion tab could work just as well as Adobe After Effects. And they also have Fairlight, which is another tab on DaVinci Resolve, which also works as, I think, Audition. So it's essentially, you have what Adobe doesn't have, which is a color grading software. Premiere Pro, Audition, and After Effects all in one program, which is great. I love DaVinci Resolve, and I'm so happy to be back. Now, I already know what some of you guys might be saying. Where did the Photoshop go? And I can tell you right now, okay? Photoshop has officially been replaced on my work suite with Affinity Pro, which is now, it was a software that was bought out by Canva, and it's basically a one-to-one rip of Photoshop with Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator all in one package. So I can essentially work in raster image, vector image, I don't know what InDesign necessarily does. I think it's like a manager for all these things. So I can manage all of my tabs and shit. And they're also adding like AI features. But the AI is essentially where you have to pay, because obviously AI is the future. But in all honesty, these two in my workspace make me really happy. They make me really, really happy, and I'm glad to have both of them. I set up Affinity to work exactly how I wanted it to, just like how I did with Photoshop, with DaVinci Resolve. It's practically an industry standard when it comes to color grading, which is fucking great. You know what I mean? Imagine, like, someone gives me, like, I'm DIT on set, and I get all the footage from filming, and all I need to do is just open up DaVinci Resolve, and I can edit the whole thing, color grade the whole thing, and fucking export the whole thing, create proxies in there. It's all in one, like, free software. It's great. It's absolutely fucking great. And I am so happy to be using both of these. I recommend both of these softwares. Obviously, I'm not trying to pander to eventually get, sponsorship from them, but that would be fucking nice if I could. But in any case, both softwares, especially with DaVinci, have been there for me when I was down, when I was up. They're my day ones. Affinity came in later in life, but Affinity's great. I'm so happy to have Affinity a part of my workspace, and I can't wait to be able to work with them, like work with the software and create some crazy cool shit with it. But in any case, I suggest everyone to move over to these programs, because it's literally just like you're flushing money down the toilet. You're literally flushing money down the toilet. Avid still has a place in editing, even though it's a clunky piece of work. It's really good for collaborative editing, which if DaVinci Resolve could get down, DaVinci Resolve could essentially take over the entire market. Could take over the entire market for a free editing software. But in any case, I highly suggest everyone to move over. You're pretty much flushing money down the fucking toilet if you're using Adobe, and I will comment on you having Adobe. Like, deep down, I will think, why the fuck is this person doing this? But to be nice, I'll go, wait, why do you have Adobe? In any case, I think the fake crime was kind of lame of me. I can do it better. Actually, no, that's a bit critical of myself. In any case, like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. I love y'all. You know the deal, like pickle. Peace out.